Okay, now we're ready to clean these two flats up and get it close to its finished thickness so we can lay out the edges. Alright, we're going to step up and grit till we reach about 220, and then we'll start grinding our flats. We'll lay them out at that point. Alright, we've got it close enough to its final thickness to where we can go ahead and lay out our cutting edges. Take measurements and get over there on the surface plate. We'll lay this stuff out. We'll start grinding the bevels. Alright, we're 145, so we'll go set up the height gauge, get this scribed. We'll do our center line up here first. Then we're going to adjust for our cutting edge and we're going to strike 2 lines. This is a really aggressive 36 grit ceramic belt. I mean, it really hogs the metal off, and I'll use that belt for about 3/4 of the grind. Okay, so in just about a minute and a half of grinding on that aggressive belt, we've gotten most of that steel out of the way. As I said, about 3/4. I use this guide so I can get my plunge cut straight side to side. This is hardened 01 steel, and it just keeps me straight and gives me consistent results. So I'm going to continue on and flip over, switch hands, and I'm going to grind this side of the blade, and I'll come back when we've got this up to a 220 finish and we're ready to move on. Alright, so this is a 220 finish, and at this point we say goodbye to this guide, take it out, and we're going to put this knife over in that rotary vise that I have behind me, and we start working these flats by hand and then the sides. What I start first with are some diamond files that I can use with water. And I'll start out with 220 just to continue this grit, and I'll kind of do a draw filing, and as the water lays on the surface of the steel, it shows me any dips or anything else that I want to get out, because I want these nice and flat. And then the handwork will continue up to, for this knife, about 1500 grit. Before we actually foil wrap it and get into heat treatment. But it's so much easier to get everything worked out on this knife now while it's soft rather than after it's hard. It'll come out of the heat treatment foil nice and clean, and there will just be minimal work to do to this knife to get it ready to put the handles on. We're going over to the rotary vise.